Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fleming Film Show. Joining me today, as always, is Justin Doyle. Hello, Justin.
Hey, how's it going out there? Hey, Rob, how's it going today?
I'm good, thank you, Justin. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having us here for this debate.
And also joining me is Cody House, making his second appearance on the show. Hello, Cody. How you been?
Woo!
I'm pretty good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on again, and thanks for giving me a reason to watch these movies again. I hadn't seen Drive in forever, and I had recently last year watched all of Edgar Wright's movies but Baby Driver for some reason, so I was glad I got to rewatch it again.
Yeah,
Awesome, awesome.
the last
So,
time I saw both of these movies were in theaters, so I really needed to watch them again. And yeah, a lot that I didn't see the first time.
brilliant, brilliant. So, today's episode is a film showdown, which is quite similar to the film offs I do on my website. Today's contenders are the 2011 film Drive and the 2017 film Baby Driver. Cody, you'll be defending Drive. Justin, you'll be defending Baby Driver.
That's right.
Right, so
You're
without further
pitting
ado,
you're pitting friends and co-hosts against each other, just so you know.
Over two brilliant movies.
Yeah, yeah.
exactly, exactly. So take it away, Cody, when you're ready. Let's talk about Drive.
Sure. Drive is an amazing film from the director Nicholas Winding Refn. It is one of my favorite films of the past decade. It is just it's just such an amazing movie, and Ryan Gosling is so cool in the lead role. He's just in control. He takes care of business. He's great at what he does. And even when he loses it, it's like 0 to 100 on how he unleashes his violence and makes him completely dangerous. And not just Ryan Gosling. You've got an amazing score in this movie. Like the music fits so well with this film, and I love the score it does. It's reminiscent of an '80s movie, like something Michael Mann would have done, like Thief, is what it reminds me a lot of. The biggest thing about Drive that is so shocking is Albert Brooks. Who knew Albert Brooks could be so scary and intimidating and terrifying as a mob boss? No one knew. And I remember people saying he should have got an Oscar nomination for this, but he didn't. And he should have, because that scene in Ron Perlman's pizzeria when he's yelling at Ron Perlman for all the things going wrong, and then he just murders that guy for no reason other than to say, now you have to clean up after my mess. Albert Brooks is amazing, but you also have great performances by Bryan Cranston. We've got Oscar Isaac in here before he blew up. Carey Mulligan is great as the love interest. You got Christina Hendricks. And the violence in this movie is shocking. Like the scene when the pawn shop robbery goes wrong, you know that gunshot's coming, but it's just so visceral that you're like it shocked my dog. My dog was like taking a nap and he heard that gunshot and it like freaked him out. We had to pause the movie. And the driving in this movie, wow. I mean, the way Ryan Gosling handles the wheel, he is never loses his cool when he's behind that wheel, even when like things are going crazy. That opening sequence of that robbery, oh, is great. And just his little monologue he gives to everybody about how he's going to do it. 5 minutes this side or the other. I'm there, but after that, I'm gone. I love it. I love his look. I love his jacket. I love his gloves. This movie is so cool. It's a cool, cool movie, and people should check it out if they haven't. I need to watch more Refn films. I've only seen this and Bronson, but yeah, Drive is top notch. It's one of the best films of the decade, and the cinematography gorgeous. It's a gorgeous looking movie. Yeah, if anyone could make something that looks similar to a Michael Mann movie, Drive does it because that's what it reminds me of.
Nice, nice. I'm persuaded by, because I do love the cinematography and the production values, but the music and Ryan Gosling are my two main highlights. Justin, what do you have to say about Drive?
About Drive. So against it, huh? It's hard to do, but I think it's, yeah, it does have suspenseful moments, but it's kind of blah. Like there's this he is a great driver, but the stuff that happens in between is just really sort of blah. Like it's kind of slow and boring. We don't know anything about the driver because that's all he's called is the driver. We know nothing about him. Backstory. We know that him and Bryan Cranston are friends and family possibly family, but we don't know anything about the driver. What we learn is mostly about Carey Mulligan, how she's with Oscar Isaac and her little boy, but it was so forced. That relationship is so forced. The between Carey Mulligan and Ryan Gosling, like all just because she saw how he was with her boy, all of a sudden she just like falls in love with him. Hey, Oscar Isaac is your husband. He is, still around. He's alive, and you're kind of like cheating on him in a way. I mean, I know nothing ever sexual happened, but you can see the sparks flying, and I don't enjoy people who are in relationships and have feelings for other people. I know it happens, but in this movie it was just so forced, because the only time that this movie really shines is when he's behind the wheel. Other than that, you got the one cool shot where the girl gets blown in the head, but that's it. I mean, otherwise it's just the driving. In the end, do you care about the driver? No, not really. What happens to him? It doesn't matter. I mean, does he ride off into the sunset? I mean, who knows? There's no drive too. So
I have my own theory about that because he gets stabbed in the stomach, and apparently that is a lethal death, lethal stabbing area. So I reckon he bled out, and then the car like drove off a cliff or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he dies, but I think the purpose of this movie, you don't need a backstory. He's a similar protagonist like Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name, Toshiro Mifune's Sanjiro. You don't need a backstory. You know what he's good at, you know what he does. He's going to do the right thing, even though he's not particularly a good guy. And maybe the romance is a little forced, but I think he generally falls for her, and she falls for him not just because he's good to her kid, but because he's a kind-hearted guy deep down. And Oscar Isaac's a loser. He's a he's a schmuck in this movie.
he gave the
But even
speech of,
then, even then, Ryan Gosling decides to help him because he cares for Carey Mulligan and the kid.
yeah, but why? I mean, what did they do for him? There's no reason why he should care so much. He's going to put his life on the line for him. And you know what? Hey, Oscar Isaac, he had that speech. This is a second chance. This is his second chance. You know what? I'm a firm believer on second chances. Oscar Isaac is a good man. He wanted to come back and be a father and do better. So I disagree with you. Oscar Isaac was the man in this movie.
I mean, I love Oscar Isaac, but they don't give him a lot to do in this movie. But I think he falls for her generally because she. I mean, who knows? Other than she's a pretty face and she shows a little bit of kindness to him. He doesn't have a lot of friends, and he's kind of a loner, so he only cares about her and Bryan Cranston.
But we don't know
So
why. Why is he a loner? Why doesn't he have friends? Why doesn't he
we
have a
don't
girlfriend?
need Justin. We don't always need a backstory for everybody. Do
But
you
then
need
you're
to know
making
why
you're
Clint Eastwood's hardcore bounty hunter? Do we need to know why Michael Myers murders people?
yeah. I'd like
You
to
don't
know.
always need a backstory.
But
Sometimes you just let the film breathe as it is.
it's a non-sympathetic antagonist or protagonist. It's I really don't care what happens to him in the end because I don't even know him at all. I just know that he drives and he does things illegally. So I mean, what is there to like about him? I mean,
He
I
wears a
don't.
cool jacket and
Yeah.
he
So
does movie stunts.
So I love Hollywood. I love that. I love the stunt part, which, by the way, is the only thing we know about him, and we didn't get to see any of that. And then
There's that one scene.
there's the jacket. This jacket did revolutionize a new way of a look. Like, it became a look after this movie came out. I totally remember that.
The
Everyone was
toothpick
searching for
too.
that jacket. Yeah, the toothpick has been done so many times. I mean, Razor
Yeah.
Ramon in WWE did it the best. So, so he's just kind of a shorter, blonder hair version of that. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's just a non-sympathetic protagonist. I wish I cared for him in the end, but after it was all said and done, I'm like, did he die? Who even cares? So.
Right. So we've had a good chat about Drive. Let's go on to this film. And the reason why I put this against Drive, because as Cody mentioned about structure and stuff, this has a very similar structure to this film. So Justin, you're going to defend Baby Driver, so take it away.
So, Baby Driver is directed by Edgar Wright, whom we all love. We love Edgar Wright. All of his movies are hits. Nicholas Winding Refn, besides Bronson, can we name another movie that he did? Oh,
Neon
probably.
Demon, Only God Forgives, The Hell of Rising, the
Yeah,
Pusher
what?
trilogy.
Huh? What? I don't even know what you're saying right now. How about Hot Fuzz? How about Scott Pilgrim versus the World? The Last Night in Soho, we cannot wait for this year.
You
And
forgot
then,
Shaun of the Dead.
well, I was going to say, let's not forget the Cornetto trilogy with, Shaun of the Dead, World's End, and Hot Fuzz. Just classics. I mean, these are cult classics that have become classics that have become part of our culture in our film society now. Then let's talk about Ansel Elgort, John Hamm, Jamie Foxx, Kevin Spacey. We have Academy Award winners in this movie. Not only nominations, but winners in this movie. So the acting, spot on, really, really good. The casting in this, my one flaw is Jamie Foxx. This movie seems, especially when Jamie's talking, it seems like a play, which is the one thing that I disliked about the way the dialogue came off. But immediately in this movie, it starts off with a bang. Both movies do start off with a cold open, which I love, but the cold open in Baby Driver is just so much fun. You get his music, and then all of a sudden, as soon as the doors close in the car, it just becomes this loud music video, and it starts off with a bang. You want to start dancing. What I didn't notice in this first one, because he likes to do long, one takes, Edgar Wright, is not only is this soundtrack and sound mixing so brilliant in this film, because just tapping on a table is the same beat that you're hearing from the music that's playing and the soundtracks that's playing. But also in this as the credits are going in the opening, the words that are from the song are on the walls and on the trees as you're like doing this long pan and this long one take where he's getting coffee, and we see Lily James for the first time. And then as soon as he, sets down all the cups, the music stops and there's Kevin Spacey and the group, and they're exchanging money. It's engaging so much at the beginning that you just want to keep watching and know what's going on. The relationship between Lily James and Ansel Elgort is, do we need it? Not really, but we learn so much about Baby because of this relationship. We learn, about his mother and his father, and the reason why he likes music and the reason why he always has an iPod. We learn all of this backstory, and it's really eye-opening and engaging, and it actually makes you feel sympathy for this character. And then let's talk about the driving. This kid can drive. The scene where they're the scene where the bank robbery happens, and he's driving in that big truck, and then the hero guy comes. It is amazing. A big old truck is going up on the side of the wall and driving through, and these stunts are real because Edgar Wright wanted this to be, a real stunt-driven movie, and it is just explosive every single scene, and the stuff in between actually matters because you do see stuff. You do feel sympathy for Ansel Elgort for Baby. Take it where they're in the post office, and he asked the lady, the teller there, "Hey, are you going to be here tomorrow?" And she's like, "Yeah." And immediately you're like, man, this nice lady is going to get hurt, and he doesn't want that. And you feel that immediately from Baby. And to the point where the next scene where they are robbing the post office, he tells her not to go in. There's so many ways of him proving that he has a kind, soft soul and heart, and we don't know why he's being forced into doing these things for Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is the brains behind all of this. He never works with the same crew twice, but Baby is his lucky charm, and he's there for every single drive. And people think, even Jamie Foxx says, "What is he, retarded?" And he goes, "Doesn't retarded mean slow?" And he goes, or maybe it's John Barenthal, "Doesn't retarded mean slow?" And it's like, is he slow? No, he's fast because he gets out of those situations so quick. Edgar Wright loves music. I'm not a huge music fan, or even when it comes to movies like scoring and stuff, but he did it so brilliantly in this movie that I noticed it so much, where I can see why it was nominated for sound design, sound mixing, and film editing, because the film editing is spectacular. Drive, unfortunately, only had the one nomination, and that was for sound. But here we are with Baby Driver with 3 nominations. And again, we know Edgar Wright, we know his work, and we're still talking about his work. Whereas, where's Winding Refn? Refn? R-E-F-N? Is that even a last name? Where is he? Is he making new movies?
He's still working.
We have no idea, because all we know is that we want to see Last Night in Soho. And then if it matters to you guys, we can talk. Drive was a budget of $15 million. It grossed 35 in worldwide, 77. And Baby Driver worldwide gross was like $277 $1 million. So the money was there because word of mouth, were getting people to go see this movie. And Baby Driver, definitely the superior one of these 2 movies.
What's your thought on Baby Driver then, Cody?
Wow. I hate that I have to find a salt on such a brilliant film. I think both these movies are brilliant, but okay, I don't like that you use just because a director has made more popular films that automatically makes a movie better. That's not fair. Also, just because it got 3 Oscar nominations and another movie got 1, that isn't fair, because at the end of the day, Oscar nominations and Oscar wins don't matter for a film's impact or how well it's remembered.
To you.
So come on. There are movies that are considered the greatest movies of all time now that were ignored by the Oscars, and there's stuff that have won Best Picture that you're like, I don't even know what that movie is anymore.
They will always be in the
it happens.
Books,
and also the thing, yes, Edgar Wright brilliantly puts the music to match with the movie, but it's all previously used music. It's somebody else's music. It is not scored for the film. It's a soundtrack he made to fit the film. Drive has an original score for the film. Also, it's not surprising for me that Jamie Foxx is playing someone crazy. I mean, everyone's playing a caricature kind of in this movie. They're playing a certain role type. They're not playing people per se for the most part. And Kevin Spacey being a crime boss, I buy that. You are completely shocked at how violent and how frightening Albert Brooks is, because you've never seen Albert Brooks like that before. We have always seen Albert Brooks as this neurotic comedic actor, and here he is And that scene where Gosling's like, my hands are dirty. He doesn't want to shake them. And Brooks is like, so are mine. And the action is an action movie. It's brilliant. It's edited greatly. It's fun, but it's not shocking. It's not. You expect all these things that are going to happen in the movie. It does its job. It's entertaining. It's not surprising. It's not doing anything new with the genre. It follows the genre plot. And Drive is when the action hits, it's gut wrenching, it's shocking. That scene where Christina Hendricks gets her head blown off, you know something's about to go down. But seeing that like that, and then seeing the driver unleash the violence on that guy in the elevator, it's like, wow, I didn't think he would go that far. And that's, I mean, this is ridiculous that we're having to sling mud at movies we both love because
I
they're
do. I love
both
both of these
great.
movies. Yeah.
But
It
if
is.
I gotta find weaknesses, that's the weaknesses I find in it. And
Yeah.
I guess if I want to do a low blow, I don't know if I should do this. It's a low blow, but I guess I'll say this. Drive does not feature any actors accused of sexual assault.
Yet, dude, Ron Perlman
That's
may have
true.
a history. He's a big
Does
dude.
he?
Well, I'm just saying he may have a history. We just
Oh.
don't know about it.
That
That's
would be
right.
sad. I don't want Ron Perlman
That's
to have a
right.
terrible history.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people would have said that about Kevin Spacey as well. Uh, I didn't
That's
say
true.
this before, but what's good about this movie is how Baby Driver is just fun. Drive is a good film, but Baby Driver is just tons of fun. The reason why he puts that music in there that we know is because we know it. We want to dance to it. We are dancing to it in our seats. We like these songs, and the fact that he can just to the bullet like to the same sort of beat is just so smart. That's new. That's original. That is something that doesn't happen in movies. So it's for you to say that, oh, this is not an original soundtrack. Yeah, that's true. But we've never seen a movie be like this long sort of music video and have there be story and, you care about the characters and you want them to get their vengeance and, in the end, you hope they're happy. You just want them to drive in a car that's too pricey for them and listen to music and head to nowhere. And that's what I wanted to do with this movie. I could have used an extra 20 minutes of this movie, whereas like Drive is fine exactly where it was. But yeah, give me 3 more, 3 more songs and a nice extra car chase. Because in Baby Driver, they stop on that bridge. If we had seen them not stop, that could have been very interesting. A little Thelma and Louise like.
Maybe so. I think the driver's a little more thought thinking in his driving, though. Like when he tries to evade the police, he's using smarts. And I think Baby Driver is more of an instinct driver for the most part. Makes a more exciting car chase, maybe, but I think the driver might be the more skilled driver in the long run. And also, this isn't Edgar Wright's best movie. It's great, but I think it's not his best film. And Drive may be Nicholas Winding Refn's best film. Though I
Honestly,
haven't seen a lot of his movies, so I could be wrong.
What's your
yeah.
favourite The Right movie, Cody?
Oh my god, that's so hard. They're all great, and I love them for different reasons, but probably it's going to be a toss up between Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz. But a lot
Mine,
of times I like to just rewatch Hot Fuzz.
mine's Hot Fuzz as well.
Um, yeah, well, you know how you've seen the Edgar Wright's entire filmography? You just said you hadn't even seen Refn, so that means that Drive didn't drive you to see more of his films, whereas Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead drove you to see Baby Driver. So, I mean, that should just speak for itself right there.
Well, we're not talking filmmakers, we're talking individual film.
Okay, well, Baby Driver is a better film than Drive.
Right, so I have come to a have had some thoughts about both films, and I'm going to come up with a winner based on what you two have both said. Cody, I agree with you on Drive. It's a very nice indie film. Obviously, it's more artistic, whereas Baby Driver is more fun. They follow the same structure, and that's why it's hard to nitpick between the two of them story wise. And the casting of both films are quite great. I'm not a big fan of Ansel Elgort, but I think the supporting cast of Baby Driver does lift it, where Ryan Gosling steals the show in that film, let's just face it. And Al Brooks was outstanding. The music, I like the indie and the more unique tone of Drive, but it is the songs of Baby Driver that make it stand out. Um, I'm just going to cut to the chase here. I prefer Edgar Wright to Nicholas. But I'm going to base these on entertainment values after watching the two recently. And Justin, you're the winner. It's Baby Driver.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I had to try what I could to say what makes it better. But yeah, of course you won't watch Baby Driver more. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about all I said about Drive because I really do love it. It's a really, really good film.
I'm not saying Drive is a terrible film. It's not
No,
one of the best, but I think Baby Driver is more the entertaining film.
What about the masks? Because there are masks worn in both movies as well.
yeah, well, that stunt mask he wears is creepy as it's creepy looking. Like
But,
when he's stalking Ron Perlman.
oh yeah, that is super creepy.
What?
That would have been great had he been in that the entire time. Like that is scary.
But that's great that they wanted to use the Michael Myers mask, and then it ends up being the comedian Michael Myers.
I mean, they're not wrong. They weren't wrong because yeah, it's Mike Myers. You know, it's Austin Powers. I thought that was really funny.
Do we think John Bernthal died?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish he was in it more. I love me some John Barenthal, and he's such a dick in this movie. I mean, they're all dicks except for Baby, and Lily James, Deborah. But yeah, yeah.
We're also getting 2 Edgar Wright movies this year because he did a documentary that's coming out.
Mm-hmm. What is that one?
It's called the Sparks Brothers. It's about this quirky band that's been around for 30 or 40 years, and they've never been like hugely popular. So, and of course, Edgar Wright loves music as much as he loves movies. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that trailer for Soho looks amazing. Just the cinematography in it, which I guess Bill Pope's shooting it again.
And the girl, she's blowing up right now from Queen's Gambit.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy. She's the star. But by the way, 7.6 on IMDb for Baby Driver, 7.8 for Drive. Rotten Tomatoes, 93% for Drive, 92% for Baby Driver. Audience score 86 for Baby Driver, 76 for Drive. So
yeah, I remember
so close.
I remember Drive being like a big critical darling that year. Like the critics really loving it. But yeah, it didn't really pick up anywhere. But yeah, I think Gosling is great as that strong silent lead.
Yeah, he is really good, and he is the star of that movie. I should have said this earlier. I really feel like Bryan Cranston was underutilized in this movie. Same thing with Ron Perlman. I mean, the only one who had any sort of is what you said. Albert Brooks is just phenomenal in the movie.
And Carrie Mulligan, I feel like she plays the same character she does in The Great Gatsby.
She is definitely underused for her talents, and I think she should have gotten the Oscar this past year.
Thank you.
Yeah. How many lines did she actually have in Drive? 5?
I think she had more in Promising Young Woman.
Well, yeah, she's
Well,
the
of
lead.
course.
She's the promising young woman. But yeah, she did not. She was definitely underutilized in this movie too. Oscar Isaac, same. Like you could have just had sort of anybody play these roles except for Albert Brooks's role, and they could have just been anybody else. And yeah, I mean Ansel Elgort. It's a shame that he was so hot during this time because we could have had like I mean
Oh,
any
that's something new for Edgar Wright. We're finally getting a non-skinny white dude as the protagonist.
Well, the big guy in Shaun of the Dead, he's a big guy. He's not skinny.
Oh,
No, but Simon Pegg's the star of Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. Cool. Well, first debate.
yeah, first debate. You guys like it?
It was fun.
Yeah, it was
Good.
definitely a lot of fun.
I'm glad you liked it, and I'm glad to have you guys on the show. I'm gonna end things here. It's been a blast having you guys on. And let me know down in the comments, or you people watching this, let me know down in the comments which films you want us to debate in the future.
Yeah. Also, what do you prefer, Drive or Baby Driver?
Yes,
Well,
so
I
leave
think
comments
Rotten
for that
Tomatoes
though,
spoke
too.
for that.
By 1%. Well, yeah, audience score. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, special thanks to my patrons, Ben, Sean, and the Country Filmmakers. And thank you guys for coming on. And thank you for these two movies, Hollywood.
Yes, Hollywood. Thank you so much, and thanks, Rob, for giving us two good movies to fight about. Because it is hard to fight about two solid flicks, but it was fun. Good
Yeah,
debate.
okay, it was fun. And hopefully, I'll have Cody back on another day. And Justin, I'll join you next time.
That's right. Until then.
Yep.
Until then,
Thanks for having me again. It was a blast, and I enjoyed watching these movies again.
brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on today, Cody.
You're welcome.
All right, take care, guys.
You too. Get some rest. I know it's late over there.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.